What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the MLB Rumpier Sports Swing for the Fences show. We're here breaking down this Friday night baseball slate, which is getting smaller as the day goes on. A couple games already postponed. We'll cover that when we get to the breakdown. But as always, on Friday, I'm joined by my guy, JT Hayes. And typically it's DC in the other spot, but he is out. Our guy Mangone, battling the COVID, is here with us. Nothing slows him down, Mangone. Thanks for being here with us on Friday. What's going on?
Yep, tested positive on Tuesday or so, JT, and I'm battling through. So here doing the show with you guys. I know we got a lot of people run pure sports that are struggling right now. I mean, DC with the bad back, me. But we're here giving out those winners. Should be a good time, and nice little baseball slate to talk about. And glad to see that the baseballs are back now. I mean, at least that's what it seems like. Who knows? It could easily turn the other way, but good to see the baseballs are starting to fly a little bit more now.
I mean, JT, typically the other guy in this seat, which is, usually DC, he blames you for a lot of his issues in life. The internet, I mean, he says it's your fault hacking through the system and making his internet fail. With sweet Travis, I don't think you have to worry about that. Travis isn't going to blame JT for anything, right?
No, and first and foremost, let's dispel the rumor. DC has not been designated for assignment. He is just having a little stint on the injured list, and we hope to have him back really soon. As far as blaming me for his physical maladies, I was in Los Angeles this week, nowhere near Denver. Actually had lunch at the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills on Wednesday. It's a long story. I won't go into it. But my favorite part about sweet Travis having this very dangerous virus, the COVID, is that he gets it. And then the first thing he does immediately is go to the airport to get on a plane with 200 people to see if he can be the patient X of COVID version 9.0. And the one thing I will say is, Travis, sweet Travis, I'm glad it's a lighter version of COVID and not this new monkeypox, because that sounds like some dangerous shit.
Yeah, thankfully it's not the monkeypox. I dodged a bullet there. If the monkeypox are running rampant, I'm gonna have to go into major lockdown and not go to any airports. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep. Well, speedy recovery. We're all wishing for it, hoping for it. I think you're already on the mend. DC, though, yeah, this back issue sounds potentially chronic. He hasn't left the bed, so he is still with us. Just a matter of time before he gets back.
Actually, you guys know DC has a marathon, I think, in June. I think he actually has to run in June. And I think he's got some money on the line too. I think I remember him talking in the airport about it. So DC's got to get healthy sooner. He's going to be struggling. So I might have to get down there and coach him once I'm all recovered and get him back up and running.
Yes. Well wishes to all the injured and sick team members over here at Rumpier Sports. We'll get everyone back to 100% next week. In terms of this baseball slate, like I said, a couple games off the board. The Rockies game, Rockies and Mets, they canceled that one pretty early. It's snowing there, isn't it, Mangone? Where you're at, snowing 30?
Yeah. I know Holden posted a video on Twitter about it. I looked out the window and saw some snow. So yeah, it's snowing here in Colorado, which is crazy. Yeah. And they just canceled the game completely. So
yeah. And then the White Sox and Yankees, it looked like there was a chance for some rain early on, but it wasn't anything major. And they just said, you know what, we're not playing tonight. We're going to cancel this one. So they whacked that one out. So that game's gone too. So 2 down. I think everything else looks good to go in terms of the weather. There's nothing else outstanding. I mean, that is the one downfall of not having DC. I mean, the top meteorologist in the industry not with us. So my opinion looks like we're good to go. So let's hop into it and talk about some pitching. Not a great pitching slate overall. A lot of the aces went, I believe, 2 days ago. I think it was Wednesday night when all the aces went. There's 5 or 6 really, really strong options that we had to consider today. Not so much. The guys at the top on DraftKings, Eric Lauer, Sean Manaea, and Scooble, 9-5, 10-2, and 10-4. Not the safest options, but guys that have been pitching well overall this season. And then we'll go down to Robbie Ray at 8K. So we'll go 8K and above. JT, I'll start with you. Talk to me about this upper tier on DraftKings.
Yeah, I think you look at Manaea, who's going to be, I predict at this point, easily the most popular pitcher on the slate. It's the spot that I like to target, quite honestly, not San Francisco, but team coming out of Coors. And I've got some thoughts on that game that we'll get to later on. So I think Manaea is okay. The price point is a little bit concerning. He really hasn't pitched like a 10K pitcher outside of the one start this year against Arizona at the start of the season when they were very banged up. To me, Eric Lauer is the guy who's interesting here because when you look at his below the surface numbers, they're just elite. He has taken a step forward. He took a bit of a step forward last season. He gets a Nationals team that honestly you can pick on with left-handed pitching. The strikeouts aren't there necessarily, an 18 or 19% strikeout rate, but the ISO and the weighted runs created plus both below 100 on the season, and even worse as of late. The Brewers, a massive home favorite. Their money line number keeps going up today. So I kind of like Lauer here at that top range. I think Robbie Ray, he's going to be boom bust. He's back to the Robbie Ray that we knew. The 8K price point is a nice price point for him. So I do have some interest in Robbie Ray. And then a guy who nobody's going to play, and I'm not saying to play this guy a lot, but everything lines up for this to be the first start of the season that Hyun-Jin Ryu actually looks like a major league pitcher. I expect him to get somewhere north of 5 innings, maybe into the 6th inning. Toronto's a massive favorite. Run total is low. K-prop on Ryu is nice. And Cincinnati, their isolated power rating against left-handed pitching over the last 10 days is 0 flat. They had a couple of guys, probably because they were on the same flight as Travis, catch the COVID and go on the IL today. So you're going to get an even weaker lineup than the Reds normally post, and you're going to get Hyun-Jin Ryu at under 5% ownership in that big ballpark. So I like him quite a bit here. Some of the other names here that I wrote down just a little bit earlier, I think you can go, if you're going to go lower, I think you can go with Daniel Lynch here and take a shot on him getting those strikeouts against Minnesota. He'll probably give up a couple of home runs. And then Chase Silseth, I think people are going to want to play him. Massive price rise there. I think it's $3,800. He was pristine, absolutely pristine in his first start in Oakland against the same team. Oakland doesn't have a lot of power. Oakland strikes out a lot. I normally don't target these situations where you've got a rookie who had a really good first start. Just expect that things aren't going to be as crisp. And quite honestly, I'm glad that they raised his price like that. And that brings me to Skubal. Awesome game last time out, career performance. He's been pitching well. He gets a Cleveland team, though, that doesn't strike out. The wind's blowing out. Run total hovering between 8 and 9. I actually like Cleveland a good bit here today. Skubal still has issues with hard contact to right-handed hitters. So I'm finding it probably unlikely that I'm going to pay that $9,500 price tag on DraftKings for Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, very good. Man, go and toss it over to you. Talk to me about this top tier. I mean, overall, is this a slate where you see yourself like going up at pitcher, or do you think you might be okay saving some money? Yeah, JT went down to Silseth, so let's go Silseth and above, who I do like Silseth. He looked phenomenal and draws a really good matchup against Oakland. So just talk to me about this upper tier on DK.
Yeah, I'll just get the Silseth conversation out of the way. Like, I think we're all going to like him today. I think he's one of the better pitchers on this slate. Nice little salary saver too. One of the best point per dollar guys. So definitely think he's one of my favorite pitchers. But from him and above, that's where it gets a little interesting. Eric Lauer, you can make an argument for, but like 10-4 is a pretty hefty tag for Eric Lauer. And it's something that I'm kind of trying to think about. Now, if I plug in Silseth and then I can get the bats that I want and I can get up to like a Lauer or a Manaea, sure, I'm happy to do that. But I think overall, I don't want to prioritize guys like Eric Lauer at 10-4, Sean Manaea at 10-2, Skubal at 9-5. Like, these are just not guys that I'm going to prioritize first. I think when I'm going to build my lineups out, Silseth's going to go in there first. And then I'm going to figure out what offense I want. And then from there, I'm going to fill out that pitcher. That's kind of my game plan. Now, if you do land in this range, the guy I'm kind of leaning on going towards is Christian Javier. He can be frustrating at times, but I do think he can kind of take advantage of Texas here. He does have a pretty good strikeout prop at 5.5. So that's something that's nice in his favor. You do have Robbie Ray, who he's only $200 more than Silseth, and his strikeout prop is 6.5. I mean, his is very similar to Eric Lauer's. But the thing with Robbie Ray is there's a lot of downside to him. He can blow up. And on top of that, he's going against Boston at Boston, where it's not as great of a ballpark. So I think if I'm going to take a shot on chasing some upside, it's likely with Javier for the price at 8.8K. But if salary doesn't matter, yeah, I'll just go up and grab Eric Lauer. It seems like the simple thing to do. I don't think Sean Manaea is chalk that I want to eat here in this spot against the Giants. I understand Sean Manaea can be a really talented pitcher, but are the Giants a team that I want to pick on? Probably not. That's one of the things I'm trying not to do. Yes, he's been pretty solid for most of the year. If you look at some of like the numbers in the game logs, it looks pretty decent and safe, but I do worry about what the downside can be. And I worry about how much upside he really has against this Giants team. The one argument you can make is maybe you just take his safety that you feel like you're getting with him and just kind of move on to the next position if you have the money. And the reason why you can make that argument is because who has a lot of upside on this slate? Like if I told you like maybe like one pitcher cracked 20 DK points today, I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. It just doesn't seem like a slate where you need to really load up on your pitchers. You don't have to worry about a score killing you, but you should worry about getting like a negative. If you get a negative, yeah, that's definitely going to set you back here on this slate.
Yeah, I mean, one, I think, strong argument on this slate is runs are starting to be scored. I mean, we've seen this, for the last week, temperatures are up, maybe something with the baseballs, who the hell knows, but runs are definitely being scored. And on a slate like this, where I don't feel I have to play a guy in the top tier, again, I'm going to probably employ the strategy where I put my offenses in, come back and see what I can get at pitcher. And, when you do employ that strategy, you need to consider some cheap guys. And I think there's a couple of cheap guys on this slate that you can consider. If you want to go all the way down to the bottom, 5.1K. I don't know much about this guy, I'll be honest, but this Smeltzer dude is 5.1K. He went 5 innings in his first start, called up from, AAA, 26 years old, 5 innings pitched, only got 2 strikeouts. But if I'm playing a guy at 5.1K, if he gets me 12, I'd be happy with that. So I think he can do that. Good matchup, I'd say, against Kansas City. He's favored in this game as well. No Salvador Perez, so I will have him. And then the other guy down here that I like quite a bit is Savali. I don't even know how you pronounce his name, but the guy for the Guardians. And he's 5.8K. Again, a good matchup against this Tigers offense. He's at home. And I believe, basically in a pick'em game here against Scooble. So another guy where I'm looking for him to go about 5 innings, pick up, and he's actually been striking out guys. You look at it, 8 strikeouts and 5 strikeouts in his last 2. So maybe I like him a little bit more now that I see that. So, you're looking for him to go 5 innings, pick up 4 or 5 strikeouts, maybe get the win. And, I think he can get you 13, 14, and maybe 15 fantasy points, which I definitely take. So those are 2 of the cheaper guys that I'll be looking at tonight, firmly in play for me. JT, talk to me about this lower tier.
Yeah, Savali is a guy also, I didn't mention him. I think you can play him. There's some interest in Detroit because of that wind blowing out. But I mean, it's difficult to argue that this isn't a matchup that Savali could do well in. I do want to go back to Eric Lauer because I think you guys are selling him very short. And this is a guy who I think on this slate is the guy that has 30 fantasy point upside on DraftKings. You look at his starts this year since he got ramped up. At Philadelphia, a tough matchup, 6 innings, 13 strikeouts. The Cubs, okay, they're the Cubs, 7 innings, 11 Ks. At Atlanta, tough matchup, 6 1/3, 8 strikeouts. Now he gets the Nationals. The Nationals on the season against left-handed pitching. Again, not a great strikeout rate at 17%, but isolated power, 0.79. Weighted runs creation, 85. They're a 210 favorite, Eric Lauer is. He's got a chance to go 7 and get 10 strikeouts. So I want to say that about Lauer because I'm going to be overweight on Eric Lauer. I think that is a way to get a little bit different as he's going to be much lower owned than Manaea. And then I want to talk about Chase Silseth because we've done this in the last maybe 3 weeks. We chased George Kirby after his great first start. We chased Kyle Bradish after his start at St. Louis. Both of those guys busted. The underlying numbers against Silseth, I will say, are better than those guys, but a $3,300 price rise on DraftKings. And I think Silseth is going to, by the end of the day, by lock, he's going to carry a lot more ownership. Can't argue with the matchup. It's just these guys, when they're that good and that on target in their first start, they normally look a little bit worse. So if I have some, I'm going to be under the field on him. And I do, like you said, Aaron Savali. I don't know about Smeltzer. Smeltzer's been up and down between AAA in the big leagues. But if you wanted to pay up for one of these guys and you're going to go down, the guy I would probably go with is Savali over Smeltzer. But I can see where if you wanted to take a shot on him, the Royals have been that bad.
Our guys, Gary and Stevie Boyton are in the chat, and they're backing up your Lauer love. They both absolutely love him tonight. So honestly, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bump him up on my board as well. I mean, a lot of our team is definitely behind him tonight. Mangone, any cheap pitchers stand out to you tonight?
Yeah, I think Savali makes a ton of sense. Definitely someone that you can go to here as a cheap option. If you just want to go all the way down there, that makes a lot of sense. I want to go back to what JT said about the Silseth stuff. He is going against Oakland again. It is Oakland and they're terrible, but they are seeing him a second time possibly. So like, that's definitely something to think about a little bit when rostering them. But I think I'm just going to say, hey, it's Oakland and just blindly go by it. But I understand the arguments for sure that were being made there, but I really don't want to go to too many cheap pitchers. Like I could see a Smeltzer, but if I'm going to do it, I just probably am going to go to Savali instead. Like I don't think the Tigers offense is anything to be scared of. The one thing that's really nice about the Tigers is when they miss, they swing and miss. So you can definitely kind of, when you catch them at like their low point, you can get a really nice game out of your pitcher. So I like that. If you are going to go down really cheap, I think it's Savali for me as my cheap starting pitcher.
All right, very good. Before we move on to the offenses, please do us a favor. I haven't asked yet. Let's see where we're at. Oh, man. Ooh, that's hurtful. Hurtful number on the likes. And, you know, the new thing I've been doing is, you know, I put the trust in the hands of the people. I mean, you guys get us to a respectable number. You get the plays of the day at the end. If you don't get us to a respectable number, then we're out. It's very simple. And if you watch the show every day, you know what a respectable number is. So I'm not going to give the number of likes that we need. I trust the chat to just go ahead and get it done for us. If it's not acceptable and it's a hurtful number at the end, we're out. The plays go into Discord. So very simple on that end. The other thing is we started the promo the other night, PGA 50. That gets you 50% off any package at Run Pure Sports. That does not include Saber Sim. So any monthly or weekly package, DFS, bets, whatever you want to do, 50% off your first month. Great time to try it out. A lot of things going on. The guys on the NBA side have been crushing Showdown. We got MLB winners every day. We got MMA coming up, PGA Championship Showdown for rounds 3 and 4 still to come. A lot of things going on. NASCAR, I'm sure, this weekend as well. So now is a great time to join and become a member at Run Pure Sports. Very simple promo code, PGA 50. Keep it nice and simple. So that gets you 50% off your first payment at Run Pure. Come on over and start running Pure with us. Let's get into the offenses, and we're going game by game. Like, game by game is just the right way to do it. If you like the position stuff, I don't know what to tell you. Today's a game by game day with this crew. We'll start with the Rays, the Orioles. Actually, pretty high total here, sitting at 9, which I guess is somewhat surprising to me. Maybe we're just starting to see the totals just come up because all the runs that have been scored. But, you know, this one kind of piques my interest a little bit because of that total. Obviously, I think the Rays are a little more interesting, but you know, I guess I could potentially be talked into some Orioles. I'll go to you first, Mango, and talk to me here about this Rays and Orioles game.
Yeah, the people might be upset by the change, but hey, let's get the likes up, and then we maybe won't make the changes. Hoop, how's that sound?
Correct.
So.
Correct. Yeah, when the likes come up and we don't have to ask for them, then the chat can dictate what we do. But the likes were at like 70 with 300 watching, and that's when I say, you know what, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. So
who's in charge? Tell the people who's in charge.
Yeah, hey, listen, when the likes aren't up, I know that I'm in charge. If the likes are up, the chat can be in charge. But guess what? The likes weren't up, so I take charge of the situation. It's game by game.
All right, well, let's take charge of this one and let's talk about the Rays, because I think the Rays offense is a good one, obviously, to attack. But the problem is, like, Baltimore's park is not the best, but the weather has turned, right? We have 86 degrees. The wind is blowing out, but I still worry about the park a little bit. I just don't know if I want to attack with the Rays as like a 5-man stack. I kind of like the idea of playing the Rays, but I don't know if I want to just go all in on them. I like, obviously, if you look at like G-Man Choi, he's a good guy you can go to. Wander Franco at shortstop, another good option that you can plug in there. But I don't think I'm going to like full on stack the Rays. I think if you play them, I think they're better as a mini stack here just because of that Orioles park. I'm still a little nervous about it. I don't know if you guys have any other opinions on it. I know you guys have been paying a little closer attention to baseball more recently than I have, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. And then Baltimore, I just haven't been playing Baltimore much this year. I know they had that one stretch where they were out of this park and then they were crushing it, but they're back in the park. And that's kind of one of my concerns there. So what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, whenever I see, I don't know why, but whenever I see a Rays like bullpen, whatever sort of game, like I just don't want anything to do with it. It seems like they just do so well when they have these games where they just like rotate through pitchers or whatever it is when they have what do they call it, JT, when they have a guy start the game that's not really the starter?
An opener.
Yeah, there it is. An opener. Whenever they go with the opener, I feel like they shut teams down. So I'm not going to have too much on the Orioles side, but man, this is good hitting conditions, almost 90 degrees, slight wind going out. I'll definitely have some Ray stacks tonight, and actually like the lineup that they put together here. Not very expensive, and there's some upside at the bottom. So JT, give me your thoughts here on this game.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you mentioned it, the total, right? It's one of the higher totals. There's juice on the over here. So I don't love this as much, same way as you. I don't love this maybe as much as I should. The one thing I will say is it looks like the Orioles are going to get a treat, and Ryan Yarbrough is going to come in after Jalen Beeks, who's opening. Yarbrough, just some very interesting 15% strikeout rate, 13% walk rate so far on the season. So not very good. The Orioles have some right-handed hitters, Austin Hayes, Mancini. Anthony Santander has been on absolute fire. I think he hit 2 home runs again yesterday in that game that they won against the Yankees. So the Orioles have been playing better. More importantly, the Orioles have been pitching better too. This Tyler Wells kid is okay, but it's not a guy I'm going to consider using because none of these guys have any length. So I think you can play some Rays. I don't know if I would go 5-man with them just because Kevin Cash still does what Kevin Cash does. And as soon as Wells is out of the game, he's going to play that matchup stuff. So I think you stated the big names here, the Wander Francos, and the Brandon, I think Lowe might be on the DLs or the IL. So yeah, I think that's the way I would play it. And then have some interest, maybe as, a mini stack here on the Baltimore side, just taking advantage of Ryan Yarbrough on the hard contact.
Yeah, Rays can be a frustrating team to stack because when other teams go to the bullpen, they will start, yanking their hitters. And there's nothing more frustrating when you're sitting on a nice stack and then your guys are no longer in the game. So that's one thing to be cautious of. We'll move on to the next game. We got the Dodgers and the Phillies, another 9 total. Team total for the Dodgers hovering around 5, team total for the Phillies right around 4. And it's Friday night. You guys know what I'm doing. I'm playing myself. Some Dodgers here. I actually like them on the road. Good ballpark. They have their A lineup. They have a cheap guy at the bottom in Hanser Alberto. And then all the normal suspects up top: Mookie Betts, Freeman, Turner, Will Smith. Love the Dodgers tonight. One of my favorite teams on the slate. Phillies, I don't know. I think Urias is good enough where I don't need to play any Phillies bats. I guess maybe Alec Bohm if you need a one-off for cheap, sitting at 3K. But I guess Castellanos has a pretty good price tag at 3.8 if you need some value. But overall, not much interest in the Philly. Definite interest in the Dodgers. We'll stick with you, JT. Thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, the one thing that it concerns me about this is these two same pitchers faced each other in this same matchup about a week ago in Los Angeles. That game shot out. Some of these games between the Dodgers, I think almost all 3 of those games in Los Angeles really had high scoring games. And the Dodgers bullpen, obviously we know what they are and how talented they are. And the Phillies even got to them in a couple of those games, but the Phillies bullpen just sucks. So I'm on your side here. If the Dodgers can get to Ranger Suarez early, and that game against the Dodgers and the one before it against the Mariners were really the first 2 games of the season that he looked like a decent pitcher. Dodgers haven't been great against left-handed pitching. You would think they're built to handle left-handers, especially with guys like Freeman and Muncy, who hit them well, even from the left side of the plate. But I think this might be a game where you could see them break out. They're going to see Suarez for the second time in a week. He doesn't have a lot in the arsenal that's going to fool them all that much. So I can lean on the Dodgers side here. And I think you can play a mini on the Phillies side.
All right, man. Going thoughts here on this Dodgers and Phillies game?
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you, Hoop. I'm playing some Dodgers tonight. They did just play recently, so that's obviously a plus for the offense. And it's definitely a good lineup here for the Dodgers. You got Betts, Freeman, Turner, Smith, Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, Bellinger, Alberto, if you want the cheap price tag, and then Gavin Lux. All of them are in play. But we talked about this a lot, Hoop. Like, sometimes what you got to do with your Dodgers is just like, go grab all of the big bats, right? Don't even throw in the Albertos and the Luxes and just grab them all, which I think might be the sharp move today. Just grab the good bats. And then again, pitching isn't amazing. I understand now if you can get Eric Lauer with that, sure, I'd love to do it. But I don't think you're giving up as much at pitching where today might be a good day to do that, where it might be worth it. So I like the idea here of going, a lot of Dodgers, load them up in your lineups, cash games, tournaments, and they're really good options. And then against Urias, he's just simply not a guy that I would be targeting. Yeah, if you want to take Phillies one-offs, like I think that's fine. Like a Schwarber is a one-off, a Hoskins, a Castellanos, Real Muto, they're all good options within mini stacks if you want to, but we got to make cuts somewhere. I'm not going to do a full stack of them. And I also don't think I need to force these guys in. If you're like playing 150 lineups and you fall on like those big bats, that's fine. If you fall on like a random one-off of like a Roman Quinn or a Joanne Camargo, then I'm not as interested in that, or like a Abdul Herrera. I'd rather just get some of those Phillies big bats, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, I'm in with you on that one. Let's go to the next game. We have the Reds, we have the Blue Jays. And we kind of talked about Ryu, or at least JT did, definitely has some interest in him. Reds are just a very tough team to get excited about for stacking purposes. So, I won't be playing any Reds tonight. I will be playing some Blue Jays tonight. I really like the lineup they have here against Castillo. Obviously, we know the big bats, Springer, Bichette, Guerrero, even Teoscar. But for me, it gets interesting after that. Like guys like Espinal hitting fifth. I've been playing a lot of him this season. Love that he's batting fifth tonight. Tapia batting sixth at 2.6K. So you have an outfield punt. And then my guy, Matt Chapman, they continue to bat him low in the order, which, he probably belongs down there. He hasn't had the best season, but, batting seventh at 4.4K is going to get virtually no ownership, and he still has quite a bit of upside. So love Chapman tonight in tournaments, but overall Blue Jays, I think, are in a really good spot here. I'll have a ton of exposure to them. Mangone, we'll stick with you. Thoughts here, Reds, Blue Jays?
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays certainly are always in play. The crazy part about that lineup is, though, after Teoscar Hernandez, like it just drops off, Obviously, I love the roster: George Springer, Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr., and Teoscar Hernandez, but Espinal, Tapia, Chapman, Jansen, and Zimmer, like they're just not like,
shit. Don't talk shit about my boys. Those are my boys down there. I like those dudes.
I know you well, your boy Collins isn't there, right? He's not there.
That's the crappy. If Collins was there, like I might be all. If Collins was in this lineup, I might be all in.
Full send. All in.
Full send.
Yeah. Well,
all in the middle.
I mean, listen, you can have him. I'm good. I forget who was the crappy guy that they had last year that always sucked. Who was the guy that he ruined every stack I had?
Oh, was it Biggio?
Yes, Kevin Biggio. That guy.
Yeah. He still sucks. What happened to him, JT? Is he just done or injured or?
I'm not sure. He had the COVID. I don't know if he's vaccinated. I have no what he's up to these days.
Yeah. Well, either way, he's bad.
Well, everyone besides Matt Chapman in that lineup, the 5 hole, the 6, the 8, and the 9, they all look like Kevin Biggio to me. So I'm good. I don't need to go there. I'm done with Kevin Biggio. I don't care. So yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays, there's some good options you can go to. You can 5-man them if you want, but just be a little careful. Like, don't make your 5-man stack be like Danny Jansen, Zimmer, Tapia, Espinal, and like, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Whoa. Danny Jansen's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah, Mangone's hating on all our boys, JT. Come on, JT. You like these dudes down here, right?
This is upsetting. I mean, I don't know about Tapia. I mean, I don't know if I want to waste an outfield spot on a 12-game slate on Tapia.
You don't, JT.
That's the only thing I'll say, against what you're saying about Toronto. I mean,
outfield is probably loaded. I could potentially reconsider, but
this is the point I'm getting at. When you build your Blue Jays lineup, you're playing Springer, you're playing Bichette, you're playing Guerrero Jr., you're playing Hernandez, and then you just pick one of the 5. Don't have 2 of them, right? Like at most from 5 to 9, at most one of those guys. Okay, just make sure. I'm sorry,
I don't agree. You're selling Espinal short. You're selling Danny Jansen short. And if you leave out one of those guys to get Espinal and a Jansen, let's say, then I think your stack is a little bit different. Not that I think the Blue Jays are going to be all that popular here, but
it just feels like a Blue Jays 5 through 9 is locked to ship now. Espinal, Tapia, Chapman, Jansen, Zimmer for all the cheese tonight. How amazing would that be? I'm playing at least one of those teams.
Now listen, I know I had COVID, but come on, there's no way we actually are excited about these names. I mean, this is absurd. But here, Danny Jansen, sure, he's a catcher. I'll play JT Hayes at catcher. I don't care who's my catcher.
He is expensive though. Did you see his price tag? He's 4.6.
I mean, it's just, but anyway, so enough with the Blue Jays. I mean, the Reds, I mean, I talk bad about those Blue Jays. I can't talk anything nice about these Reds. So tough for me to get behind them. The only thing I can maybe consider is like maybe some one-offs like against Ryu. We know we can give up the long ball, maybe like a Tyler Stevenson at the catcher position, but man, is that really 5.4K? Like, am I really going to spend 5.4 for a catcher? I just don't know if I want to do that. And then after that, like maybe Tommy Pham would be interesting at 4.7, but that's all I got there for
you. Hoop got annoyed. He got annoyed with you picking on him for the Blue Jays, and that's it. So there you go.
Well, JT, while Hoop is gone and trying to figure things out, why don't you talk highly about the Blue Jays and what you're going to do with them, and maybe you'll like some Reds as well. While you're mentioning some really bad players, why not talk about the Reds?
Yeah, I'm not as high on the Blue Jays. I think in multi-entry I might have a couple, just because remember, you're not just getting Luis Castillo, you're getting that tasty Cincinnati bullpen, which has been absolutely terrible all year, and it's going to be for the most part. The guy I'll talk about again, he's going to get 5% ownership. It's not a guy I target a lot, not a guy we target a lot, but when I do target him, it's in these types of spots where he's low priced and where we're on a slate where if Hyun-Jin Ryu can get you 18 points and he gets a win, because remember, they're, minus 180 favorites at home here, 22 points from an 8.3K Hyun-Jin Ryu, I'll take that. And I think he's one of the safer plays on the board against this Cincinnati lineup.
All right. Well, we don't got Hoop still, so I'll have to take control over the show. I will be the new host. And hey, let's shift on over and talk about the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Guardians, because Hoop's not here to talk about his Tigers, so we'll have to do it. There's some Tigers talk in the chat. I'm not interested in the Tigers, JT Hayes. Curious to get your thoughts if you're interested in anyone from this game.
I find it very difficult to be excited about the Tigers. I mean, the wind notwithstanding, we're talking about a team that strikes out an absolute shit ton here on the season, 24% strikeout rate, isolated power 095, weighted runs creation of 73 against right-handed pitching. I get that Aaron Savale hasn't been great this year, and the Cleveland bullpen has struggled at times, but it's just very difficult to get excited about them on now it's a 10-game slate, fine. But still, I think there are other spots that I prefer here. Maybe I'll have some three-mans just because I'm multi-entering. But the side of this game that I actually like kind of more than I thought I would is the Indians against Tarek Skubal. Skubal, big strikeout pitcher, coming off what was one of the top 2 or 3 games of his career. Now gets that huge price bump on DraftKings. And look, the Indians aren't striking out. The Indians are a team that they don't do as well as I'd like them to do against left-handed pitching. But I think when you look at the fact that Skubal still has issues with the hard contact to right-handed batters, I do like guys like Jose Ramirez and Owen Miller in this lineup. And I can see even getting to a couple of 5-man stacks on the Cleveland side, but probably leave them mostly as a secondary stack. I do like them here with the total, with the win, with the Tigers bullpen, which has been about middle league average, a little bit worse so far this season.
Yeah, one more thing to mention about this game, JT, is the weather, right? 86 degrees, wind is blowing out. So that's one thing that is favorable for the hitting. Maybe we'll see the home runs flying. And a team that, like, man, their offense doesn't seem sexy, right? Like if I just like read you off these names, it doesn't sound great, but the Guardians offense is definitely one that I think you could do a 5-man stack of it and have some success tonight. Like we know that they can go off and they're not like your typical names. You know what I mean? So I think the Guardians is definitely a 5-man stack that I'd be looking to get some exposure to. I also think the one-offs, you can do 2-man stacks. Like if you do like a Franmil Reyes with like a Jose Ramirez, That's a great little 2-man stack that you could have that I think can definitely go off against Scooble. So yeah. And we just got some word that Hoop is coming back. The power went off at his house. So I don't know. Maybe I hired someone to just rip off the power after all that Toronto Blue Jays talk. But maybe it's DC. Maybe DC did not like the slander, and he found a way to get all the way to Detroit to shut down the power. So
I mean, it's possible. Is it possible? I mean, I want to say something. Obviously, it's not true. Say something that's kind of against my own self-interest here. Is it possible that I'm doing this? Is it possible that I am just saying, hey, I want to be the star of the show. I want my time with Sweet Travis and want my time with Hoop. And so I cut off DC. Now I cut off Hoop for a little bit. Maybe I'll let him back in here. That's definitely not happening. So get those conspiracy theories, tinfoil hat thoughts out of your head. Sick fucks.
Hey, you said it, not me, JT. And I'm just happy to have some time with you. You know what I mean? I get to hang out with your bald, beautiful head and, have a good time and talk some MLB. And
virtual hug.
Yeah, virtual hugs, because I got to stay away from people right now, JT.
I'm not worried. I'm not scared of COVID. You can come near me. It doesn't matter. I've got the super blood.
Do me a favor and go find DC. I mean, DC has to be behind the hacking of my computer system here. I mean, have not had that happen in a long time. All of a sudden, everything goes blank. Power flickers in the house. It has to be DC hacking in, because every Friday we have the issues. There's just no way. DC blamed JT for his internet issues. I am now officially blaming DC for my issues here on this Friday, but I am back. Did we come to a consensus on the bottom of the Blue Jays?
Oh no, we're back on this.
Sorry, where are we at? Do you guys talk Tigers, Guardians yet?
I'm just gonna say this.
We did. Well,
I started looking ever since this conversation. I've started looking at other bottom of the orders. There are so many other bottom of the orders I'd rather have over them. Like it's just like countless. But yeah, I mean, continue. You guys can have Ramil Tapia. He's amazing.
You know the trend though on the show, man. Going like when someone talks heavy shit about a guy or a group of guys, they tend to perform. So I will advise you, and maybe in some small dollar stuff, you better get a 5 through 9 Blue Jays in there. Just
my one concern about this is that Cincinnati bullpen is really bad. Like if there's something worse in the bottom of the order Blue Jays lineup, that bullpen is bad. So I might have to fire in a bottom of the order or something.
I will tell you. Let me give you one other little detail. One of the things I look at that I think is important when evaluating pitching, especially guys who are boom busts like Luis Castillo, is how they're doing on batted balls in play. Luis Castillo, very lucky so far this season on batted balls in play. This is why I like Ryu. I think Ryu can shut down the Cincinnati lineup, which is like a single to quadruple A lineup for the most part, outside of 2 guys. You got Votto coming back from his stint with COVID, which apparently was bad because he was out for a month. It's not like you, Travis, where you're flying around and infecting everyone. He was actually quarantining. He was ill. And I think he can have a good game. And I think he can play Toronto because once they get past Castillo, that bullpen, man. I mean, this is one of those games where would it surprise you, Hoop, to see a position player on the mound for Cincinnati at the end of the game?
Yeah. And then my boy Tapia is going to hit like 2 home runs off for a first baseman. I will say though about the Reds guys, and we talked about it before because they're the first team that started the COVID stuff. And I believe we talked about it on the show. If you play for the Cincinnati Reds, and you have the opportunity to, sign up for COVID and get like 3 weeks to a month off, I'd see you later. Like, yeah, I have COVID and guess what? I can't breathe. I'm stuck in bed. I got the chills, a fever. I can't get rid of it. I mean, you're stretching that shit out as long as you fucking possibly can. And, with Joey Votto, I guarantee that was the case.
Does this work at Run Pure Sports? If so, I'll see you in 3 weeks.
No, man, you're grinding, man. You're grinding through. You're a soldier. COVID can't slow down Sweet Travis. We know that.
In fact, I've got a couple of days off next week, Sweet Travis. I may have to join the midget battalion.
Oh, you do? Okay. I'll have to get with you and schedule it up. So I got to start making the schedule for next week. So I'm going to find a way to get JT Hayes on and we'll talk some sports. I can't wait.
That's key. Did you guys, what are we on? Mariners, Red Sox?
We talked about the Tigers. If you want to talk Tigers.
I'm not playing any offense from that game. So I'm off that.
Ooh, you don't like any of the Guardians either?
Nah, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I like both the pitchers. I mean, Scooble, I'm not playing because of his price tag, but I think he's good enough to, slow him down. I don't know. Who knows?
All right.
Mariners,
Who
Red
can't
Sox.
roster any Tigers and Guardians because he is loading up on the Jays bottom of the order.
Yeah. I don't have enough roster spots, JT. Like, I got 60% of Tapia, Chapman, Jansen. Like, there's not much room. Like, I have a very small pool tonight.
Fair enough. Lourdes Gurriel might pinch hit later on against that bullpen, so don't leave him out of the bullpen.
I might have to play him too. Mariners, Red Sox, another 9 total. It's pretty split. I don't know. The Red Sox are like 4 3/4. Mariners about 4.25 in terms of their individual team run total. But I think this game is pretty interesting from an offensive standpoint. Waka, I don't think is very good. The Mariners definitely have some bats that I'm interested in. Ty France, Julio Rodriguez, a couple guys that stand out to me. And then Robbie Ray, you touched on him at pitcher, just a boomer bust guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and, 6 innings, 8 or 9 strikeouts, limits of damage. You also wouldn't be surprised if the Red Sox absolutely rock him. So I will definitely have, probably both sides of that matchup. I'll probably play a little Ray, and I'll definitely have some Red Sox offensive players. Mangone, I'll go to you. Thoughts here on this Mariners Red Sox?
Yeah, I mean, these Red Sox bats definitely can get hot here against Robbie Ray. Kike Hernandez against any lefty can have a big game. Devers can hit anyone. JD Martinez, Bogarts, Trevor Story coming off a 3 home run game. So they definitely have some guys that can get the job done here. Then if you look at the Mariners and hey, this is one of those 5 through 9s I was talking about. Give me Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez, Toro, Dylan Moore, and Cal Raleigh over those Blue Jays you talked about. I'll take those guys to war over your guys' Blue Jays. But I think this Mariners lineup's not bad. The problem is Michael Wacha always just finds a way to kind of get through stuff, and I just don't know how he pulls it off. But it is a really nice ballpark. It's going to be like 70 degrees or so, and then the wind is blowing out 10 miles an hour. So I think both these offenses are in play as 5-man stacks, but they're not ones I would get a lot of exposure to. They'd probably, I don't see them being really high owned stacks on this slate. So if you wanted to make them as some of your secondary stacks or some stacks that maybe you're just getting 10% of, that's kind of how I would handle it with building out 150 lineups. But yeah, if I had to pick one side though, it's more than likely probably the Red Sox side, just because of how much power they have with that 1 through 5, and then the blow up potential that Robbie Ray has. And at the end of the day, we're trying to chase these home runs, and the Red Sox, they got home run hitters in that 1 through 5.
Yep. I think it's a sneaky game, honestly, from offensive standpoint. I mean, I don't think many people will play not as many people as normal would play the Red Sox because of the matchup with Ray, and Mariners typically aren't a popular team for DFS purposes. JT, what are your thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, one thing, first of all, I mean, Cal Raleigh over Danny Jansen.
Well, okay, I'm getting Winker and Suarez, and I'm getting all those other guys. That's what I'm saying. My 5 through 9 will beat your 5 through 9. That's all I'm saying, Jake.
We might have to reconsider your moniker here. But yeah, look, I mean, Michael Wacha is making his first start in almost a month, coming off the IL. I think it was an intercostal strain. So I don't expect him to go long. Tanner Hook, who's the best guy in that Red Sox bullpen, pitched out of it, especially now that Whitlock is starting, pitched out of it yesterday, several innings. So once you get past Wacha, this bullpen's certainly beatable. So I do have some Mariners interest. I do think just some things I was looking at before coming on here, it looks to me like the Mariners may be popular, but not popular where you have to worry about it, 8-10% popular. I think that offense popularity is going to be spread out a bit on this slate. And then look, on the Red Sox side, Trevor Story finally had a game where he looked like Trevor Story yesterday. He's always been better a little bit against left-handed pitching, and JD Martinez has been absolutely raking over the course of the last couple of weeks. So it's a scary matchup for Ray, and looking at a 30% ownership for Robbie Ray, Hoop said, I think I'll be having some shares of him, but I'll be under the field there, and definitely will have some of both of these teams. I had a Mariners and Red Sox stack last night, came in 10th place in the big GPP because I didn't have Story with Dylan Moore in the same lineup, but they were on the shipper last night. Could happen again.
Yep, I definitely like that call. Next game, Twins, Royals, 8 total. Not all that appealing for me from an offensive standpoint. I'm interested in the Smeltzer dude. I don't like to play the Royals offense in general, so I'll be off of them. And then on the Twins side, man, I don't know. I just can never the Twins just never get it done for me. I mean, Buxton obviously always in play, but I just hate playing guys like Carlos Correa. You do have a full outfield punt batting third in Kyle Garlick. I think he will garner quite a bit of ownership for that reason. He's batting third and he's 2K. Gary Sanchez at catcher. I don't know. The lineup does look pretty good when you go from top to bottom, but just seems like they never get the job done. JT will stick with you. Any interest here in Twins or Royals bats?
Total's been going down here. I don't really have a ton of interest in this game. I can see playing Buxton. I could see playing Sanchez. Kyle Garlick is, you're right. He's probably going to be one of the highest home guys on the slate. And people are playing him for 2 at-bats. So guess what? He better hit that home run on his first or second at-bat, because once Lynch is out of the game and that right-handed pen comes in, he's coming out. So, I mean, I'm definitely not going to have Kyle Garlick as a one-off. Maybe I'll play in multi-entry a couple of these twin stacks. I can't see myself getting to the Royals on this slate.
Mangone, any Twins or Royals bats for you tonight?
Yeah, not really excited to play them. The one thing I'll say, Hoop, is you said the Twins never get the job done for you. They got the job done once last year, and then you took your money and ran.
When I said
that, the way you talked, it sounds like you didn't take your money and run. I'm just going to say that. So,
very true.
I don't know what maybe you just got to like stay away from the Twins. I hate playing them, but Byron Buxton is tempting, right? Like I think the Twins are a better candidate for like the mini stack or just like the one-off. Like I wouldn't exclude Byron Buxton from your player pool, but I don't know if I'm going to be playing the 5-man stacks of the Twins. And I don't need any Royals today. I know they fired their hitting coach earlier in the week. They just seem like they've kind of been a bit of a mess. So I'm out on the Twins and the Royals game. Not one I'm going to get too much exposure to.
Yep, we'll keep it moving. We got the Rangers, got the Astros, 8.5 total. Team total for the Astros right around 5. Team total for the Rangers right around 4. We talked about Javier when we were going through the pitchers. I think he's in play. I'm not going to really be on many Rangers tonight. I think Brad Miller leading off 3.1K, fine value. Probably the only guy though from this lineup that I'd consider. You can play him third base or outfield as well. And then the Astros definitely have interest in their bats. Alvarez not in the lineup, but you got Altuve leading off, Bregman. I think Jeremy Pena is a solid option, batting 6th, and then Mauricio Dubon, outfield, shortstop eligible, 2.5K. Definitely would prefer to play him at shortstop with that price tag. JT, any interest here in the Rangers or Astros for it?
Yeah, definitely on the Astros side. I mean, Dubon is a guy that I would play as a one-off before I play Kyle Garlick, quite honestly, because Dubon, you're going to get pretty much the whole game out of it. He's been very, very effective against left-handed pitching. Christian Javier, this year at the leash, he got a slow start to the season. He was in the bullpen. They were using him they used him in some piggyback spots. That price tag on DraftKings, along with the fact that over the course of the last couple of weeks, Texas really cut down on their strikeouts, down around the 20% mark. They are also walking at a 10% rate over that time period. So I'm really not interested in Javier at that price point. I think if I'm going to go in that 8K range, it's probably going to be to Ryu. I do think there are some Rangers that you can play as one-offs. Corey Seager has been hitting the ball really, really hard. Jonah Heim, if he cracks the lineup. And you mentioned Miller at the top, who is not a pinch hit risk. So I have more interest though on the Astros side. Martin Perez has been running. You want to talk about running pure. He's been running very, very pure this season. And when the wheels come off, it's going to lead to a lot of runs for the opponent. Could be tonight.
Yeah, he's going to get rocked. Mangone, any interest in the Rangers or Astros bats?
Yeah, I mean, if he is going to get rocked, I'm putting Kyle Tucker on that team. I love playing Kyle Tucker, even against lefties, because people just don't play him and he can crush them. So like the spot for him at 4.7K, like it for Bregman. I mean, up and down this lineup, it's a really strong team. So, hey, even though Yordan Alvarez is in the lineup, the Astros can still have a big day. So I think this is a really good, spot to attack. I agree with you with the Brad Miller thing, but I just don't need to go to the Rangers today. So I'm not getting exposure to any of the Rangers. It's mainly the Astros for me. And then we can just go on to the next game, but load up on the Astros. I think they're a really good offense tonight.
Yep. Before we get into the next game, two things. We got the promo PGA 50 gets you 50% off any package here at Run Pure Sports for your first month. That could be weekly, I guess, as well. Weekly, monthly, just cannot include Saber Sim packages. So any DFS bets package, you can use that promo code PGA 50. It's only going to last for a couple more days and then it's gone. And then another thing is, I talked about in the opening, the likes. Now, not setting a strict number on the likes. Like right now, if the show were to end, we'd be taking our plays and they'd be going straight to Discord. So if you want the plays of the day at the end, which I mean, does include the Eiffel Tower play of the day on a Friday night. I mean, this is an ongoing tradition here, and it does quite well. So you're going to want to get JT's Eiffel Tower play of the day. The likes need to come up and the subscriptions as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner of the video. Next game up, we have the Nationals. We have the Brewers. Lauer's a guy that we're all pretty high on. I mean, now I'm a little higher. You know, JT's super high on him, Stevie Boyden high on him, Gary high on him. So, you know, no Nationals bets for me, but I will definitely have some Brewers bets. You guys know I love my boy Rowdy Tellez. Treated me very, very well this season. So the price has come up. I mean, early on in the season, 2.6K, 2.7K. Now he's a 4.7K guy, probably, you know, 5K guy, always in that range now. So the value is not necessarily there, but the guy he's my guy. And I think he gets it done for us tonight. Yelich, Andrew McCutchen, strong offense here. They're projected to score around 5 runs. So I'll be on the Brewers, but definitely no Nats bats for me. Mangone, thoughts here on the Nationals and Brewers offense?
Yeah, listen, no interest in those Nationals bats, but another 5 through 9 that I'll take. Give me Rowdy Tellez, Hunter Renfroe, Narvaez, Kane, Peterson. We don't need those crappy Blue Jays 5 through 9. But
that's just cheating, though. You get Tellez, though. That's stealing. That's
I know. That's why I knew Hoop would. You know, the defense would just rest. He would just back down there because I had Rowdy Tellez in there. So
Lorenzo fucking Kane. I would take Tapia over Lorenzo Kane.
Yes, thank you.
Oh man. So yeah, I think overall this is a great team to take tonight. I mean, no one's scared of Eric Fetty. He's someone that you can definitely target too. So I like this spot for the Brewers. Definitely a good group. So hey, 5-man stacks, secondary stacks, 2-mans, like one-offs of Rowdy Tellez. Give me all the Brewers today. I mean, it's definitely a good spot for them on this slate. And I know there's not like a lot of like amazing pitching on this slate, but like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of just like amazing offenses. Like we don't just have like a bunch of like over 5 run totals and 6 run totals. Like, so I mean, I do think that we ought to like, you know, be a little selective with our offenses, and the Brewers is one of them. I want to make sure I get some exposure to them because they're definitely going to take Fetty Yard today here on this slate.
Flip it over to you, JT. I mean, you really like Lauer, so I'm assuming no Nats for you. And then talk to me here about the Brewers offense.
Yeah, I mean, not much to add here. I've talked quite a bit about Eric Lauer. He's going to be one of my highest exposed, if not my highest exposed pitcher options tonight. And Brewers easily make it into my top 5 in terms of stack exposure here in this spot against Fetty. And a Washington bullpen that been a little better lately, but with the way that this Milwaukee team has been hitting, I am going to side on the side of the Brewers with the exception of Lorenzo Kane.
Love it. All right. 2 more games, and then we're going to get out of here. Hopefully we get to the plays of the day. We got to see where we're at the end of the show. We have the A's, we have the Angels, low total here, 7.5, about a 3-run total for the A's, about 4.5 for the Angels. You know, you can always make the case for Trout and Ohtani. I think they're firmly in the conversation tonight. But on the A's side, I'm just not going to play any A's bats. I don't really see the upside there. Mangone, any interest here in the A's or Angels?
Yeah, no A's for me. And like, honestly, I don't really want to play the Angels. I just think I'm kind of like wasting my, ownership doing that. Like Paul Blackburn has been pretty decent this year. So I think Blackburn is someone that I don't really want to pick on necessarily. Now, of course, Taylor Ward has just been hitting everything, and they got Trout and Ohtani. So like, I get it. That 1 through 5 is so strong. So if you want to go with the Angels, I won't tell you not to, but I just think there's other offenses that I'd rather go to. So I'm kind of fading this game. Not really too excited about this one.
JT, any interest here?
No, not really. You mentioned it, low total. Yeah, I mean, you can always pick off one of those Angels power guys as a one-off, and but you know they're all between, I mean, 5.4 and 5.9K. So you're paying a premium there, and I think there are probably better spots for your one-offs on this slate.
Last game of the slate. We got the Padres and we have the Giants, another 7.5 total, and the split in terms of team total pretty even. I mean, about 3.75 for each team. Manaea, solid pitcher, and then Junis on the other side, just getting a lot of respect here, minus 123 at home against the Padres. Just not a great place to take bats typically. I have no interest. JT, any interest here?
Mild interest in the Padres, just because they've been worse than they should be. The numbers have been terrible. It looks like some of these guys are waking up. Junis has been kind of dancing through raindrops here. His expected ERA is a full 2.5 runs higher than his earned run average. But you mentioned the downsides, the ballpark, etc. But on the other side, Manaea, I think he's fine. I like the spot with the Giants coming out of Coors. But the last point I'll make about the Padres and why I'll have some is because if they do get to Junis, this bullpen that just came out of Colorado in that series where a ton of runs were scored there, very tired, pitched very poorly, as a lot of them do over the course of the last 3-4 games up there. And I think if they do get to him, there'll be that 1% on stack that could put up a bunch of runs.
Very interesting. Mangone, any interest here in this last game?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I like about the Padres is they do have some like decent bats, and for some decent price tags, like Jake Cronenworth, Manny Machado, he can always go yard, obviously. Profar has been a little bit better. Will Myers, obviously not a bad option. And Luke Voigt's got a ton of power and pop. And so, yeah, I think overall the Padres are definitely a team that I don't mind getting exposure to at a low ownership. And I'm not super excited about the Giants, though. I get it. Like you could say, oh, Manaea's own, maybe you get some leverage there. They got some good righties against the lefty, but I just think there's better spots to go to on this slate. So just a little bit of the Padres for me. I would not go to the Giants though, really.
All right, very good. That will wrap it up for the game by game portion. Let's go over. Oh, pretty good job. You guys got us to 225. We have to go to JT. Is that acceptable, JT? We got about 400 watching, 225 likes. What do you think?
I mean, I don't love it. but I'll say this. I'm in a great fucking mood. It's summertime. It's hot in Atlanta. Going down to Florida next week. I may even get to do the morning show, Mangone and the Midget Battalion. I might be able to jump in there one day. So let's go ahead and give the place.
Let's do it. All right. I'm going to start with the rich parents play of the day. And I mean, there's only one spot I can go. I mean, based on the conversations from this show, I mean, there's only one team that's eligible for me, and it's the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's not anyone that's batting first or second or third or fourth. It's my guy batting fifth, Santiago Espinal, the rich parents play of the day. He's going to lead off this trend here of the Blue Jays 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters that win GPPs tonight. Santiago Espinal, rich parents play of the day.
All right, man. Would it be great if I just came over the top, Hoop, and said that my play of the day was Ramil Tapia? How would that be?
See, it started, All right, let's Mango. Actually, yeah, we are going to go to Mangone with the Sweet Travis play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, I can't go to Ramil Tapia. I'll say that. Also, JT, very hurtful to say how it's summer out and it's hot. It's snowing here, and I have COVID, so I have the complete opposite of what you got going on.
So, but that's the thing. That's your feeling. That's your fucking problem. It's summer where I am. I feel great. I don't have the COVID. I didn't infect 3,000 people at Newark Airport. I have a clear conscience, and I'm in a great mood. That's why the people are getting the plays. If you were to make the decision, you'd be like, no, I want to get back under the covers and get back to my Pedialyte.
Well, listen, I am going to do that shortly, but I will give out my play of the day. Let's give out Kyle Tucker. I saw someone in the chat saying that Martin Perez is going to get the job done. Listen, Kyle Tucker, he's one of the better hitters in the league. I know Stevie Boynton will definitely defend this with me. Crushes the lefties as well. I got Kyle Tucker as my play of the day, so we'll take him in the Astros stacks and take him as one-offs as well.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, the lefty-lefty matchup will definitely keep ownership in check. All right, one more play of the day, and it's Friday, and it's JT day, and that means we're heading on a flight, an Air France flight, not one of Mangone's Newark COVID flights. We're heading to France for the Eiffel Tower play of the day. JT, who do you got for us?
Yeah, this flight, Mangone was nowhere near it, and it was disinfected. It was cleaned. It smells absolutely delicious. It smells like a clean bathroom in a fancy hotel. And on this flight, if you want to get on this flight into the winner's seat, you're going to find sitting there in first class, seat 1A, Jose Ramirez.
Love it. Jose Ramirez against Scooble. Should be low owned. Prices up there if people think Scooble's good. I love the array of plays here. You know, it's 3, I think, GPP type plays. We got Espinal, we got Kyle Tucker, and then we have Jose Ramirez. The 3 plays of the day. They're going to get us to the winner's circle tonight. That is going to do it for the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. For Mangone, for JT, I'm Hoop. Good luck tonight in your contest.